Yes? Okay.
Yeah.
Hi, so we're Team 2, also known as the Silver Ferry Coalition, and we are proud to present the morning after. It's our campaign to encourage American college students to drink less alcohol. Here's our lovely team, composed of Ana Conte, Sylvia Taye, Manchu Liu, Anna Shimniaka, Cristina Iturralde, Frank Higginbotham, and myself, Marcela Agra. This is just an overview of what we'll be going through. We've got our brief, the research and insights, the idea and mood board, and our execution.
Good morning, everyone. So, to let you know a little more about our brief, the brief was to make alcohol antisocial, which pretty much meant that we had to create a campaign that encouraged US college students, so people from ages 18 to 24 usually, to not drink or drink less. We approached it as a drink less campaign. Some fun facts, not so fun, that you might not know, is that alcohol is linked to cancer, that most people don't know about drink sizes, and they don't know the recommended intake guidelines. So the problem we saw in this brief was that American college students are drinking excessively, and that is damaging to their physical and mental health.
Getting into some of the research that we found, it was pretty self-explanatory stuff, but in general, drinking excessively can put a lot of people in danger, and especially if you're like in an academic setting, it can lead to getting behind in schoolwork or missing class. Heavy social drinkers are also more prone to having problems later in life with their drinking. And like having to use it as a coping mechanism for their personal problems. And for American college students specifically, a lot of them describe themselves as social drinkers, but if you get into that habit and you fall into that habit, it's difficult to break out of it later in life. And both male and female American college students have reported excessive drinking, with males especially tending to binge drink.
I think you're muted, Frank.
Sorry about that. So our insights that we found were that heavy social drinking is harmful to the mind and body itself, and that American college students are reluctant to completely restrain themselves to be sober during a party or in anything social due to the social aspect of drinking. But understanding moderation can mean the difference between life or death in these situations.
So as the solution to the brief, we came up with the idea of developing unique and fun characters that remind college students of the dangers of the dangers of excessive drinking and blackouts.
Chris, would you mind explaining our mood board for us? Christina? I don't know if Christina is in the call yet. It's okay. So Christina built our lovely mood board, and basically this gives an overview of what you'll see in the video and in the two following slides. We basically had a whole scenario of a college student drinking irresponsibly and having fairies that encourage them to, on one end, to be sober and be careful, and on the other end, to just drink in an excessive manner.
So talking about our execution, we're doing a video ad, and our target audience are American college students between age from 18 to 24, and also we want to touch like more people. So considering about where to put this ad, publish this ad, we want to do it both on traditional media such as TV and also social media such as TikTok or Instagram, and also some digital media such as YouTube. And also for our content, we're using like two fun opposite characters to speak the torn minds of people when they, come to drinking.
So now we're getting on to the good stuff. These are our characters. We had 3 main characters. First, we have Soberina, the sober fairy, played by Hannah. We have our irresponsible college student, Anna, played by lovely Anna Conte. And we have Pete, also known as Peer Pressure Pete, who played our peer pressure fairy. And in the sense, it's peer pressure in regards to pressuring you into drinking and continuing along the habits that most college students already carry. With that, we created a video that basically shows what the worst case scenario could look like from the perspective of the person waking up the next morning and not remembering. So it's kind of focused on what happens when you drink so much that you black out and the results of it the next morning.
I don't believe it's playing the sound. Can you please double check that?
Yeah, sorry about that. That always happens when I have headphones on. My bad.
All good, thank you.
Can you hear it? Why isn't it playing?
Share with sound. Just try to share with sound.
Share with sound. I don't know why it's not.
You have to stop sharing and reshare, and when you reshare, be sure that it includes sound.
How do I do that? Oh, share sound. There it is. Cool. I never knew that. Thank you. All right. It's just asking me for the password to the computer.
Yeah, 2 years of pandemic learning, and we still are learning stuff, so it happens. This is what it means to present live.
You'd be surprised how many times that's happened with actual clients of mine.
Maybe I have to be unmuted? Nope. Sorry, folks, I'm not sure what's.
Have you tried sharing sound within Zoom itself? Like where it says share screen, sometimes there's a feature that asks you to share the sound as well.
Yeah, that's what I just did.
That's
Sure.
Instead of saying like unmute, you can like select the speaker, select the microphone, maybe change that.
Yeah. I'm trying to figure it out. Apologies, folks.
Like just the source. Check the source, like the output, and then.
Okay.
Let me give it a try. Let's see if it works on my computer.
I don't know if it'll work. I'm trying different things.
Hopefully.
Maybe it's my computer. I hope not, but
Let's see. Is this good?
yeah.
You can hear it?
Okay.
Sort of.
Did I share
Sort
that?
of.
Not me? No, that's not me. Okay, I can't hear anything. What's going on?
You try to play it again. I heard something. No.
It's Zoom. It's kind of glitching out.
Hey, try
No?
to
No
play the
sound?
original video. Try to play the original video on your computer.
Yeah, maybe if I just play the OG video, because I do have that. Yeah, again, apologies, folks. This is the first. Never happened before, so not sure why it's giving me an issue. All right, I do have it on like share sound, but I don't know whether it'll work or not. Let me see if I can
full screen this. You guys hear it? Yay! I saw that face. Thank you, Professor. So this is the video. It was with sound before, but I guess Zoom was just not happy with it being inside the presentation.
Good morning, sleepyhead.
What?
Fun night?
I don't know. I can't remember.
Probably for the best. Hi.
Hi?
It seems like you had a blast.
Oh my god, what did I do?
What did you do? You danced on top of the island.
And fell, nearly breaking your ankle.
And what else did I do?
You made some new friends.
And texted your ex.
I miss you? Better kisser? He's not even a good kisser!
Yeah, it's pretty funny.
It was tragic.
You did make out with a hottie.
Oh!
Hey, Pete.
Alright, well, my bad, Sabrina.
Kill me now! Please tell me that was it.
Nah, you were wild.
You took a shit ton of shots. You beat everyone at beer pong. You were a legend.
You also got sick, blacked out, and didn't even make it to the bathroom to puke. Not one of your finest moments.
No kidding. I'm never gonna do that again.
Was it really a good night if you're miserable the next morning? Make choices that minimize regrets and headaches.
Oh, that was a fun one to do. That was interesting. We have a lot of tidbits to share, but I hope you liked it.
Yeah. We also have a lot of bloopers, but we
Yeah.
weren't appropriate to show them. But yes, yeah, so that was our concept. Basically a short video showing what can happen when you drink too much and black out, and all the regrets and headaches, meaning hangovers, that you'll have the next morning. So it's kind of encouraging people to drink less while also showing them that they can definitely have fun without actually having to drink alcohol.
I thought you guys did a had like a good use of humor in it, because those things can get over serious and kind of preachy when you're trying to tell someone not to do something. So humor is a good way to kind of cut through that bullshit and get your message across.
Yeah, for sure. We were trying to go with a meme sort of approach. I feel like it caters better to the audience, because if you tell people don't drink, college students especially, they're just gonna say like, well, excuse you, I'm gonna drink more. So we hoped that bringing this humor into the situation, it would kind of become a meme, and then the students would quote it to each other. So they would be doing half the work for us too.
Cool.
Yeah, I wanted to say I really like the format, how it's a vertical video. If they were to air on TV, I'd probably keep it at that format, just so A, it's disruptive, and B, it shows it as like, a social recap kind of situation that like amplifies the message, I think, and like plays directly into the concept for the, the type of target audience you're targeting. So kudos on that. Yeah, I think it was hilarious. It was really, really funny.
Yeah, we definitely were thinking that we wanted it to look like a TikTok or an Instagram reel type of video. And if we were to post it on YouTube, we would probably also post it vertically, kind of like what you just said with traditional media. Because yeah, then that kind of draws in the effect that it's supposed to be for younger audiences who are more used to that format, but it can still appeal to older audiences as well.
Yeah, I'd probably explore the idea of maybe doing like a little version of that. That's like a little, short and sweet. That's like directly targeted towards TV if you're looking to put it in your book. But as an overall cut, like a long-term version, long-form version, I think this is it.
Yeah, I heard one of the presenters mention that drinking alcohol is not the only way to have fun. Maybe I missed it, but then what other option did you give us? If it's not to drink alcohol, I don't think I saw that other option.
Yeah, so the options that we're trying to show is you can either choose not to drink any alcohol, like our sober fairy, or you can choose to drink in a more controlled manner. So that's kind of what we're doing. We're trying to tell a cautionary tale to remind people that of what you can avoid if you drink in a more controlled manner, in a more controlled way, rather than binge drinking or drinking to the point of blacking out and forgetting every little thing that you did, which seems to be, according to our research, a constant with a lot of college students who drink.
Okay, because at the point I noticed that the ferry was pushing out water and saying water is the other option instead of alcohol. I don't know if that is what you really wanted to say.
Yes, that's correct. Yes. So we were trying to remind people that there's that water is the other option as well. So it's a fun way of telling them like, hey, you can choose water without making it feel too pushy, which would have created that kind of backlash of people being like, well, I'm going to do the opposite of what you're telling me.
Going from what Harry just said, a good solution for that and for the future, guys, when you're doing video filmography or anything like that, it's good to use a rule of threes there. So maybe you do like a call and response type of feeling where you're giving Pete is giving one of those bad advices on his side of what she was doing, and then you're giving a solution to that, and you can repeat that a couple of times, like with good rhythm, and that will really kind of like keep people invested in the video as well.
If I can say something in terms of content and format and how it's structured, in my opinion, of course, I think it took too long to present the concept and lose attention, especially young ages where you're aiming. You need to be a little. There's something need to be happen every 2 or 3 seconds, and I'm not talking about technical. Because it's not this is not a film school, but I'm saying that the content, if you can like short the in-betweens, the permute between one thing to the other, like a pa 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 pa, so you keep the attention of the young ages where is you're aiming, you're gonna keep them there, and that will help you tell the story more directly, have more impact, and have them engage, and it will help you with the goal to make a meme. So it's funnier and it's a little quicker, but in terms of the concept, I liked it. I just think it needs to be shortened in like 45 seconds tops, like half of it, in my opinion.
Yeah, I think I agree with Antonio. I feel like that's just one of those things that as you progress through advertising, like you'll get better and better at, whether it's writing lines or writing scripts or creating content. Like it becomes like your baby and you want to keep everything in, but you realize as you start to build pieces of it and cut it down, it gets better and better and better.
You can say more with less. That's perfect. Just do it. Just the biggest example of all, right?
Yeah, and originally we had thought about maybe doing a lot more telling than showing, and ultimately decided to change it, and that did turn out making it slightly longer because we felt that it would be more impactful to show the scenes of the flashbacks rather than just having the fairies like recount everything that Anna had done.
So you don't need to stop. You don't need to stop to put like the title. I mean the name. You can be like pa pa pa, like really fast. So introduce the characters right away because their name or their role is understood through the videos. It's not needed to be a title. Fairy, sober fairy. I don't know. I remember. But it needs to be like pa pa pa. That part takes the mood out of the way. And also you need something at the beginning that helps keep the attention. So maybe you try the hangover technique. So you put the ending at the beginning. That'll help like people be in the process of like, oh, okay, what? And that'll help you, I don't know, with engagement.
But don't lose the flashback scenes. The entertainment value on those was high. Those are funny.
Okay, good. We're very glad. We gave our blood, sweat, and tears, quite literally, to dance on the kitchen aisle and make fake vomit and all that stuff. So
It was a fun production. And I was a trooper, and I was a real trooper. Being willing to spit out fake vomit. But no, honestly, it was really fun to film. We're very appreciative to Professor Petros for such a fun project. And we really appreciate all your feedback, actually. Thank you.
Thank you.
Cool,
We'll
yeah.
keep it in mind and hopefully we'll make it a little shorter. Thank you.
Okay, good job, guys. The next team, come on.
So team 3, team 3 is a little shy.
Come on, guys. Like, we don't have like the whole day, and these guys, like, they are working. So please, let's use the time like wisely.
You can go.
Okay, so I hope everybody can hear me. This is team 3. It's with Marife Garcia, Maria Castellanera, Katia Morea, Leandro Armas, Hannah Christiansen, and Elia, who isn't here right now. She's in a class, but she helped us also build this campaign. And so for our brief, it was to create a unique advertising campaign using one or more media that would encourage US college students, our peers between 18 and 24, to not drink or drink less, and overall just drink more responsible.
Yes, and so for our insight for this campaign, we found that students think that consuming more alcohol leads to having more fun, and through our campaign, we just want to share that that's not necessarily the case. So our goal is to showcase the negative consequences of drinking a lot of alcohol, like memory loss, making mistakes, getting into fights, and just really waking up the next morning and pondering the decisions that we made the night before.
Okay, so for our research and the strategy that we came up after the research, first we started with the facts that we found out that drinking alcohol is a common practice among people in the US, and this is not exclusive to a certain time of day. This means that they don't necessarily drink at night or in parties, but it's something that comes with lunch, with sitting down with your friends and having some wine. So it's part of our day-to-day. We also found that most people don't know the recommended intake guidelines, that alcohol is advertised as a commodity, even though it has effects that are toxic, psychoactive, cancerogenic, and teratogenic, and that the average drinker consumes 2 to 3 drinks on occasions twice per week, and that's considered a moderate drinker. So the strategy that we came up with is to, based on our insights and on our research, is to show that sober does not equal boring. What we want to do is we want to educate students on the facts about the consequences of excessive drinking, while offering them realistic and exciting alternatives, because as the last group said, if you tell them not to drink and then don't tell them what to do, On the other hand, they will keep drinking. So we want to give them realistic alternatives, and the majority of our ideas aligned with this approach.
Yes, so introducing our concept, we named it a wasted night. And basically, on the next slide, we want to demonstrate that students have two choices on a night out. They can either choose to drink responsibly or irresponsibly. So we'll show them the contrast between these two experiences. We'll showcase a drunk experience. So that'll involve like a spinning room, they're dizzy, blurry words, poor decision making, and then to contrast it with a night out with responsible drinking or being sober. And we'll showcase that they can actually have fun and really enjoy themselves and remember everything the next day. So we'll do that through our first execution, which is a VR execution. So we'll provide a virtual reality pop-up throughout college campuses. So during events like before tailgates or first week of classes, finals week, wherever there's like a large gathering of students at campuses, and we'll give them the opportunity to live a night through both pathways. So the drunk pathway will involve situations and threats, I guess, to them that will be like difficult to get through. And then we'll contrast it with the sober pathway, and it will kind of reveal, after living through the drunk or super wasted pathway, how easy they could have gone through the situation, and kind of just reveal what you missed while you were drunk.
And so here are examples of what they would see in the VR headset. It's basically a point of view of a night out, and one of them is drinking excessively or responsibly, and the other would be the pathway of drinking smart or just being sober completely and having your night be that way. And, you know, remember your memories of hanging out with your friends versus having the inability to even function throughout the night.
And then our next executions are mostly to drive interest to our VR experience, and then as well just like give more examples of being drunk on a night out versus drinking responsibly or going sober on a night out. So this one will be out of home ads in the form of posters placed across campuses. And they'll show examples like puking outside versus dancing at the party, or fighting your friend and the consequences of that. And then this is kind of what they would look like. On the right, we have like a guy in the toilet, and it's all blurred out. And then below him, it's him with all of his friends with the copy, "I hope no one remembers," or "I hope I never forget. Don't waste your night. Don't get wasted." And that copy is the same on the third one, where again, she's like puking. And then on the bottom, she's like hanging out with all her friends at the pool. And then the middle one is two girls like fighting against each other with the copy, "Do you really think you'll be friends after this? Don't waste your night. Don't get wasted." And then each of the posters have a QR code. This QR code leads to a landing page that I'll show in a little bit. And on the landing page, it has the time and date of the VR experience, while kind of still keeping it secretive of like what exactly it is, so it kind of gains more interest. And then that landing page also has a lot of information about how you can how to navigate like a sober night, or how to get help if you feel that you are drinking too much, and then also like alternatives to alcohol, such as like mocktails. And then the next execution is kind of the same idea, but just tailored for social media. We would mostly create reels and TikToks, trying to really go with the attention span that like our audience has. So an example of this, and I'll go to the next page. We would start by showing like a girl getting ready for her night out, and she's downing a bunch of shots, and then at the bar she's also downing a bunch of shots, and then it pans to everything kind of blurring out and spinning, and she ends up with her head in the toilet. And then in the video we'd like do a quick rewind, and we would show her drinking responsibly and being able to have a great night out, and one that she remembers and can tell to everybody. And we'd have the copy again: don't waste your night, don't get wasted. And then this would be the added element, which is our landing page that again just gives people information on sober alternatives, getting help, and then where to find our VR experience. And that is all we have.
Who wants to start?
All right, so that's a good one. I'd want to touch on the data you provided for your research. Moving forward, I'd advise that instead of just giving us a general background to the problem, you mentioned that alcohol consumption is a problem in the US, but then the main topic is on students within an age bracket of 18 to something. So I'd rather you add that kind of information too, so that we know what the actual problem is, because you've given us the general problem. So it would be more like an inverted pyramid kind of, you give us the general problem, which is the larger picture. And then now you narrow down to the main focus of your work, which is students in the US. What population of students in the US are drinking? If you could get that kind of data, right? Then we know that this is what we are really looking at. Otherwise, I think you've done a good job. Yeah.
Thank you.
I really like the format of the presentation. I like that you're really putting together all these different executions to kind of like touch different media points and just like touch points in general. Something that I do want to say is a couple of things that I picked up is consider this for an idea. On the VR side, what you might want to consider is you might want to consider the same path, but like including different challenges for them. What I mean by this is like you're gonna have to gamify the experience a little bit, because you don't have the advantage of somebody actually being drunk while they're on the VR. So a challenge that might be difficult for somebody that's already drinking is not going to be for like somebody doing the VR experience, and therefore they might not get the same impact that you desire them to have. But if you gamify it, right, if you make it into like where you have the same path but you have different challenges, let's say on the drunk one, the camera is shaking, you're not able to control the character or control yourself as you move through the world a lot, and then you have in the sober pathway, you have the same choices, but it's easier to do it. You don't have things like, I don't know, like an illusion happening when you're on the drunk pathway, or somebody offering something and you don't have the answers. So I want you to think about the actual user experience of the people that would be on that VR, and like how that would be different from an actual person that's drunk, because that's going to make a difference between if they get it or not, and how they approach both pathways. And another thing that I noticed on the posters that I wanted to like point out is you want to think when you're doing advertising, of course, like where the format is going to be and where you're going to place that, and the type of copy that you're going to have there. So I felt that the posters had a little bit of like weak messaging in them, and they were a little bit long. You really want to try to condense that as much as possible and be very catchy, for lack of a better word, when you're going at it. And also, if you want to keep a consistent layout as much as possible, that doesn't have people looking up, middle, and bottom at the poster to kind of get the full message. You really want to condense that message either on a single aspect, or you want to do imagery on one side. Let me rephrase it. Not imagery on one side, but you want to put the focus of the eye on one thing at a time. You don't want them to skim through everything and not being able to read it, because people only have a couple of seconds when they're passing through a billboard, or they're driving by, or they're walking by. So 2 nuggets of there, but overall, I think it was really great. I think it was really thorough.
Thank you.
On top of what Dan says, adding to that, I think the weights on the posters were a little off. So everything seems the same, like the same sort of type of size of the letters. So that takes you away. And I do like the concept. I do like the fact that you're trying to get people, yo, VR, bro, let's try it. And then you get them into, Okay, little messaging. That's good. Besides what you can do in the application and stuff, that's for another day. I think there are too many don'ts. You started right. Like, we don't tell you what to do, what to not to do. Just want to explain your situation, the problem. But then after that, went to it. Don't. Like a Cisco song. It's like a don't. And the website, don't. So that, I think if I go back a few months when I was 22, just kidding. I think I will feel like, okay, he's telling me not what to do again. So I don't want that. I want to make the decision for myself. And you explained that. I think it was Marife. I think explained that very well at the beginning. So okay, that's key. So if you tell them what to do or what not to do, they're gonna do the opposite probably. But if you explain with this, I think the concept is good. But the only thing that I will try to avoid is like the don'ts or the pointing finger. That's the only thing I see. And besides that, it was great.
I liked it. I thought one of the things I really liked about the idea was that you guys were hitting on a tension, which I think tension and contrast are like really keys to good ideas in advertising, just creativity as a whole. So like, for example, if you take a picture of a homeless man, it's kind of interesting. But if you take a picture of a homeless man and he's on Wall Street and he's surrounded by people trading all the money in the world, and you can see the contrast between extreme wealth and extreme poverty, that is interesting, right? It makes it way more interesting. So I really like that you guys were playing with this contrast idea and having some tension. One of the things I was going to say is, I mean, just for your books, because you're probably not, I mean, as students, you're not going to be able to like really build out a VR experience, but just to show that in your portfolio, I think you want this scene in both the left and the right to be the same scene, but altered, right? So you can see the contrast, right? Like you have the same scene, one you're drunk, one you're not drunk. And so like, you can play with different elements, like things can be different in each side, but you want it to be, it's easier to show the difference between the two if they're different. Sorry, my dog is, somebody's at the door. Yeah, so I would do that. What was the line? And I just liked where you guys went with this. I like that you went VR. I like that you went out of home. I like that you had QR codes that brought you to a website that gave you more info. What was the lines again on the, because I remember, I mean, I'm with them on the, like, if you get into the don't too hard, it can get like, you can have people kind of turn the other way. But I did like that you played with wasted. What was it? Don't waste your night, don't get wasted. So
yeah, it was don't waste your night.
Yeah, that's like good wordplay. So like you're on the right track, but I mean Antonio and Dan are right on the, like, if you it is interesting with messaging, like if it sounds too much like a command, especially when it's coming from something like this, it can have people turn the other way. But I liked where you were going in terms of like playing with the wordplay. I liked the tension, and I liked like all the mediums you guys were using.
Thank you.
Thank you for your feedback.
Thank you all for your feedback.
For sure.
Perfect. Moving on. Next team, come on.
Is this team 4?
This is group 1.
Oh.
Hi, I'm Sophia. My team consists of Fernanda, Casey, Eli, Sarah, and Cameron. Moderation is liberation. So the problem is that drinking is often considered part of the college experience, but we do know that heavy drinking can lead to long-term negative health effects, embarrassing experiences, and awful hangovers. Here's some statistics about alcohol's impacts. About 80% of college students consume alcohol, and 50% of them do admit to binge drinking. 1 in 4 college students struggle academically due to drinking. 15% of full-time college students meet the criteria for alcohol use disorder, and about 13.5% of deaths among 20 to 39-year-olds are alcohol related. And obviously we know that it causes both short-term and long-term health effects on your whole body.
So moving on, there's kind of this narrative now that Gen Z is drinking less, which is true to some degree, but we still see kind of all the same headlines that you always see, like college students may suffer permanent brain damage from binge drinking. There's students who suffer from brain damage or even possibly death from, hazing incidents at frat parties. And so around the college age and on college campuses, you really still see this, this binge drinking culture among younger adults. And then this keeps, And so for our insight, people hate how drinking makes them feel, obviously. Everyone hates hangovers. The day after is horrible. And honestly, drinking can kind of take you out of definitely mental focus and possibly even like really feeling up to your physical self up to several days after. But also our other insight was that many young people use apps to kick bad habits and to hold themselves accountable. Just moving on to the idea, Casey.
So, instead of just showing people why you shouldn't drink alcohol, we wanted to create like a motivational tool to help them like throughout their journey of decreasing alcohol consumption. So we've introduced the Dry app, which serves as basically like an accountability buddy to help them decrease alcohol consumption. And the app is our like main concept, but to promote it, we want to do a campaign with some executions that drive the initial app downloads, increase engagement, and we would be using like embarrassing stories, and then like showing like things that you'll miss out on with like drinking too much. And yeah.
So kind of going off what Casey said for the app, to get younger generations to drink less, we would create this app where they could basically submit their drinking habits and it would show them how that's impacting them and also would basically encourage them to minimize their drinking. So this is a mock-up of what that app would look like. To start off, it would basically ask the user when they drink last and how much they spend a week on alcohol on average. These are some other kind of landing pages of the app. So it would show how long they've been sober for, how long they haven't drank, about how much money they've saved. And then it would also have goals set. So it'd be 1 week, 2 week, 3 weeks. It would show health stats. So alcohol heavily affects your heart, your liver, and your brain. So it would kind of show the user how not drinking is helping those things. And then it would also show health improvement since they stopped drinking.
For the activations, we created some mock-ups to exemplify the campaign idea. And we are doing social ads with impactful images that are related to the problem, but also common moments that college students have lived before or they know someone who had. This ad is going to be in the library at a university, and this one is around the idea of missing important moments, which is really relevant for college students. They want to live forever, they want to be everywhere, they want to enjoy life. So we're showing them that if they keep binge drinking, they will miss important moments, and the app is a solution. This one It has a very catchy message for the audience because it's related to exam, so it's easier for all students relate to it. But your exam could have gone better. Moderation is liberation. Download the Dry app if you want better grades. So we bring the app as a solution for these moments. For the subway ads, we decided to do longer copies because we consider that people have more time to spend when they're waiting for their train. So we wanted to bring like real life experiences to showcase that the problem is real and bringing the app as a solution. Here's another one, and it's saying a story. And again, the app as a solution. Don't get boozy, get dry. Thank you.
Awesome. I guess I'll start. I love the name. Moderation is Liberation is a great name. That's a great name for an app. The one thing I thought would be cool to add to your app, to be connected to your smartwatch, whatever that may be, you could track like the drinking motion. So it's like you could get like little ping like, is it booze? Because the more you ask people to voluntarily like input numbers, it's just more of a barrier, if that makes sense. Like people don't want to willingly do stuff, especially if they're drinking for fun. But if it's almost like the walking meter on your thing, like a Garmin watch, where it's like, have you met your steps today? And it pings you. Like you have like, if it connects to your phone, you could like actually track the motion of them drinking, and you could have a little ping that's like, is it booze? And then after like a certain amount of sips, you'd be like, maybe get some water. Like, so I think you could have fun with that. Let's see. And then for the like out of home executions, I thought the exam was that was your best example, the one you had. Yeah. But I think you could have more fun with these. Like, I know you're probably just finding, stock photos off of Google, but like, I think you could find a picture where it was like even more over the top. Like maybe he's drooling, maybe he's, you know what I'm saying? Like something where it just like adds another element where it's like, it gives you a little bit of like a chuckle. Like, I think that, yeah, I think it would just put it in people's minds a little bit more. But overall, I love the idea. I thought I love the name. I think that's a really sticky name, and I think add a couple things, and this is a cool project.
Yeah, I think
Alvina said that if you stop sharing, we can see you. As Alvina said that. It's good, so we can see your faces.
Sorry
Yeah,
about that.
just to add to what Paul said, it's a good project, and I think I love your choice of text, your choice of color, the fonts you chose, and all of that. Yeah, you did a good job there. And then again, coming from an academic perspective, just as I mentioned to the other group, I think you did just what I was asking the other group to do, where now your data was on point. You told us what exactly we need to know about the situation with students now. So you were able to build on that. And I think I give you thumbs up for that. That's a good job.
Jumping off from what Henry just said, I do want to point out for you guys to be careful with your contrast in your typography. There were a couple of like slides and examples where you're using white type on top of like the yellow, which is the harder one to read. So, always be mindful of that, especially if you're doing like the phone, obviously we're seeing it here big on a mockup, but it's always going to be a very small screen size. So keep that in mind, and always try to find different alternatives. Maybe there's like a darker yellow that you use for when you're using white type on top of it, or maybe you stick the white type onto like darker backgrounds, right? Overall, I thought it was super great. I like the idea of the app. I think it's super catchy. Dry, it's a super catchy name. I like, based on what I saw, that you're thinking about how the user is going to use the app in different ways and how to, again, gamify it, so to make it easier for people to kind of like get involved with it. I think that that's an important step for the generation and for the audience. I think that, you know, the younger that we get, the more that we try to gamify things like that. So I thought it was also great. The smartwatch comment, that was actually really smart. In terms of like the out of homes, something that I noticed is that a couple of them the message that I got from them was actually more on the funnier side than on the, oh, that was not a good idea. So like the girl with the chicken, I know why you're trying to do that, and I know you're trying to put it in an embarrassing light, but I don't know that the message on that specific one was very like strong. And with the other guy at the bar, I agree that the guy on the test exam and the baby shower are better examples of like that dichotomy, right? You don't want it to be too dark, but you also don't want some people to be like, haha, that's kind of funny, and then they're taking the wrong message away from it, right? So be very careful with the messaging there. But overall, I thought that it was they were really well presented. The typography was great. Good balance in the size of the fonts on the auto homes as well, which is really important. As I was saying before, you know, now I could read it good. And I really like the comment, right? Like the comments from people like telling their stories. I think that that's really interesting. But that's also where you need to be careful that the person that needs to share the story needs to feel regret about it, right? And you can see it from the way that they're speaking about it. And those two people, like in those comments and in those like sections, were just telling about the story. They were not really implying, I would have probably done differently, or not a good idea, you know? So that's something that, you know, if people are gonna stop and read that messaging, they want to make sure that they get it right away and they're not like fussy about it. But overall, again, great one.
Oh, I did want to add, this is one thing I forgot. I love the idea of bringing in real stories from people, like mining Reddit, but like you do want the stories to have like get your message across, that it's not like you don't want to get wasted, but they also need to have like an entertainment value, right? Like if you're just being preachy, no one cares. But if it's entertaining, maybe it's funny, but somehow at the end, the person kind of wraps it up. Or maybe it's a line that you guys write that wraps it up and brings it back to your, you know, your message. But the stories, pulling real stories in is a great idea. And then making sure they're as entertaining as possible and short.
A good example of that for Paul is like, for example, like the girl with the chicken, just a simple, you know, ban from the chicken place forever, or like repercussions from the actions that happen in that story would help you not having to change the story. But there's like that end is kind of like, oh yeah, you know, maybe I don't want to do that. Maybe I don't want to get naked and get the chicken.
I think the chicken.
I'd like to weigh in as well,
Oh,
if that's
sorry.
okay.
Yeah.
So I think in terms of art direction and the concept and the copywriting, everything's solid, looks really tight. The deck's amazing, looks very professional, looks, you know, very down to the point, and, you know, gets the message across very succinctly. I did think there was like an inconsistency in terms of art direction, how the app was presented and then how the out of home was presented. I understand that, like, you know, it's a stark contrast between this like playful type and then this like fairly grim photography that's got like this dark cinematic color grading to it. I would probably explore an avenue where you lean into more of like a type or illustration based solution that takes more inspiration from your app. So maybe it's a series of posters or print ads or social pieces that are just quotes or testimonials like, your night out sucked, don't drink next time, but, you know, I'm not a copywriter, so make that better. But I mean,
There's some sorry, just go ahead.
yeah, so I think yeah, just in terms of like consistency and like overall bringing it all together with like a nice bow. Other than that, yeah, I mean, it's awesome. Everything's really cool. I didn't understand why it has to say dry like 3 or 4 times on the app slide where the girl with the bandana on, where she's got like the scarf. It says like dry app and then dry and type and then dry on the app. So I don't know. I'd just probably simplify things and make them like, you know, a little more Apple.
from my point of view, it is great in our direction, and I agree with Dan. Everything was on point. And yeah, you can fine tune, as Dan said. The only thing I was missing is, sorry, the concepts, the chicken part. If you take the right actress and you put it in video, so she's screaming, "I want my chicken," or whatever, you put it in that, like, and then you start like, boom. You don't need to scream for chicken. Get dry, it's over, whatever. Those posters in my head moving with the right direction and right actors could work very well, and will definitely blow up in social media. In my head, social media is not democratic. And on top of that, you can add, this is random, but you can add reasons to use the app. Besides the fact that you're getting sober, oh yeah, I'm getting sober, that's great. Or I'm dry, I'm good. Yeah, sure. But if you add perks like you've been sober many days, the way you can prove it, I don't know, they can track it. You get certain perks, discounts, and depends on the government is doing that app, or a brand is doing that app. You can have that, on the app, so people will use it in exchange for, I don't know, money for Fortnite, or a 20% discount on Chick-fil-A, or free Frankfurt at Vienna in Barcelona. So yeah, but solid.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Appreciate it, guys.
A lot of the art direction was Fernanda. She did such an amazing job. I just want to say thank you.
Yeah, it was really good.
Appreciate it.
Yeah, good. Excellent job, guys. Like, we're missing one team, right? Okay, let's do it. Last one.
Yeah, I think just team one is the one that hasn't presented.
Actually, we're team 4, but we haven't gone yet.
Yeah, team 4, I think.
Can everyone see my screen? Yes. Awesome. Oh no, you can go ahead and.
Oh, okay, sorry.
Mhm.
Yes, we're team 4. This is the title of our pitch deck, the best skincare, and obviously this is a pitch to decrease alcohol intake. Oh, and in our team we have Ida, Elena, Esteban, Sarah, and Valeria. And I'm Mona Lisa. Okay, so obviously for our ask, we are trying to decrease the amount of alcohol consumed by college students ages 18 and 24. So in our presentation, we're gonna explain what our take was and how we tried to tackle this issue.
So our insight that was derived from our research, of course, we found a lot of the facts that the other groups found, but one interesting thing we found was that consuming certain types of alcohol or binge drinking over a long period of time can definitely speed up your biological aging. It can cause wrinkles, it can cause acne, fine lines, dullness of your skin. And also through our research, we found that there has been a surge in Gen Z fearing aging, with a lot of skincare routines and preventative Botox and things of that nature. So we really wanted to marry those two insights we found from our research.
So when we were brainstorming, of course, we wanted to, we understood that we are addressing teenagers, students that are in college. So we couldn't be that direct. We, on the other hand, wanted to encourage them to drink responsibly among them, and that's why we also wanted to raise awareness about the effects of drinking and binge drinking on overall health, not just saying like stop drinking or don't drink. Instead of that, using another approach with executions that you will see later that are like they're used to these type of things with technological advances and everything. And lastly, we wanted one of our goals is to inform students about the surprising ways alcohol consumption can affect them.
So for our campaign, we decided to have a couple of different executions. The first one
we decided to launch a social media. What if I told you that there's a skincare product that can prevent fine lines, brighten your complexion, improve skin hydration, reduce acne, and slow down aging? What if I told you that this miracle product was 100% free, easy to use, and already available to you? This groundbreaking skincare product is reducing your alcohol consumption. Reducing your alcohol consumption is proven to improve overall skin health appearance and slow down signs of aging. Learn more about reducing your alcohol intake at shw.fiu.edu. So our aim here was basically, given Gen Z as our target audience, we really wanted to use the video format, but do it in a way that is, funny and surprising at the same time, kind of doing like the classic skincare ad, but turning it into a ad for reducing your alcohol intake.
Hey, will you play that video again? I just want to see it again.
What if I told you that there's a skincare product that can prevent fine lines, brighten your complexion, improve skin hydration, reduce acne, and slow down aging? What if I told you that this miracle product was 100% free, easy to use, and already available to you? This groundbreaking skincare product is reducing your alcohol consumption. Reducing your alcohol consumption is proven to improve overall skin health appearance and slow down signs of aging. Learn more about reducing your alcohol intake at shw.fiu.edu.
Awesome, thank you.
No problem. Also, I just realized that when putting it in the frame, it cut off a little bit of the text, but this was specially created for real format. So I don't know exactly what happened there.
So we will also be doing a school activation, hosting a mocktail making event at FIU where students can craft non-alcoholic beverage while engaging in discussions about how drinking less will be like better for them and like what benefits of not drinking they would like get if they start like practicing a more mindful drinking. So this is like the Instagram post, like the mock, how it would be just like a flyer inviting students to discover the secret of, like, that's the mystery part, like just discover the secret, and like they would just come and like learn about the benefits of drinking less and how they could have fun and drinking aesthetic drinks and just be fun still when going out with people. This is the out-of-home ads that we will have. So one of them says, the best beauty hack, less makeup, more mocktail. And the other one says, the best skincare is the one you choose to drink, choose water. And they both have the tagline, smart drinking for college students. We wanted to address it like they're going out, they're getting ready, they have their fun makeup on, and just like showing them how they can still look hot, nice, fun, with like drinking less alcohol and be more thoughtful of their choices when drinking.
Yeah, and this campaign would specifically live in bus stops and college campuses.
Mm.
And then lastly, we decided to come up with an aging filter. So we wanted to kind of visually demonstrate how, or, in a way a little bit dramatize how alcohol consumption can have an effect on your skin, specifically on dryness, aging, etc. And so we came up with this filter, and it has the tagline, "You age how you drink." And so this filter would allow people to be able to record videos of kind of how they look now and how they would look if they continue to drink at the rate that they are. Oh, I love
Okay, so for final statements, through these initiatives and different strategies, we aim to empower and inform our college community about the impacts of alcohol consumption on both health and wellness. And that's pretty much it. Thank you.
Awesome. That's great, guys. I think I'll start this one. Well, a couple things. I don't know if this is part of the assignment, but from my first day here, it does feel like your campaign will be catering more to the female audience than the male audience for college. So that's something to take into account if you're trying to do that or not. And if you're trying to do that, I would probably double down on that. I don't think that it was necessarily explained or kind of like made very clear throughout the whole thing. You were kind of like just talking very generally about college students and the impact of that. But since you're bringing in skincare, you're bringing in this this vision and this kind of like art direction where you're showing women and you're showing this very skincare type of feel to it, right? I think it's important that you also double down on like the target audience, and you make it very clear in messaging and everything else that you're really speaking to the ladies in this case, right? Something I noticed is that there was, and I'm not sure, but it felt to me like there was a little bit of discrepancy on the art direction in terms of the font choices and kind of like how things are organized a little bit. So maybe make sure that, you know, throughout all touch points, they're all going to be different, and you're going to have challenges trying to like make sure that everything fits. But it is part of our job to make sure that everything feels cohesive, be it the way that the stock footage is kind of like color edited in the first ad, which by the way, I really loved. I'm going to talk about it in a minute, or the photography that you're using. So you really want to like find cohesion in every touch point through that sense. In this case, the photography should be edited the same way. Talking about the first ad, I actually thought that it was great. It caught my attention from the beginning, which is great. And I followed through it. Like I felt it was very good marketing, to be honest. Like I was in it for the whole run of it. And then at the end, the payoff was there. So, you know, you walk me through the story in a short format, and you delivered kind of like that punchline at the end that was really effective for me. So kudos to that. I thought that was really great. And then finally, for the out of homes, and I'm pretty sure you also noticed this because you put the messaging on the left side, but it was very hard to read the messaging on some of the billboards there, you know. So do make sure again that that's something that somebody walking by 10 meters away or like 5 meters away is going to see it, the same that somebody that's sitting right next to it is doing it. And finally, because you are mixing skincare with drinking, you have to find this very, very delicate balance in the photography that you're choosing specifically. One of those out of homes felt 120% skincare, 0% alcohol. And only because you have the other side where they're pouring drinks, can you connect those two things together. But you're assuming that people are going to see both of them, both of the out of homes, and they're going to get the full message, where somebody might be walking down the street and only see the side panel where you only have the woman with the skincare here, and they're going to miss a lot of the messaging, right? So always take into consideration that pieces should work individually as well as cohesively with each other. So don't put a lot of pressure on one of them to carry the piece, basically. But overall, again, super great, super interesting.
Thank you.
Great job done. Yeah, I think this runs through all the presentations. I didn't get that feel of diversity. You know, the world is now a global village. It was all geared towards one side, where we're seeing white models throughout. But then I feel on your campus, you don't have just white students. So in the future, for all it cuts through all of them. See if you can introduce some diversity in there, so that you can reach all forms of cultures in there. Yes, as Dan said, your work looks more geared towards the female gender. Maybe do some research and find out how alcohol affects muscles, for instance, so that you can bring that aspect to address the male target also. Yeah. Otherwise, I think you did a great job. Again, as Dan mentioned, your choice of, I think, fonts, again, it was a bit difficult reading, especially the outdoor one, right? The out of home, the bus stop one, it was a bit difficult reading that. So we need to look at that too. Otherwise, I think you also did a great job. Yeah. Thumbs up.
If you let me jump now, because I'm a little bit in a hurry. I just want to say I agree with Dan and Henry, of course, and I think it's pretty obvious if you're on the male side that you missing that point. But the concept, it was clear, the message was thorough, and it was like, okay, impact and catch your attention right away. But if you find a similar concerns or needs or preocupaciones, the worries of a male in that area, I think Henry make a good point with muscles, nutrition, maybe in terms of playing sports, you're going to be play better football, basketball, whatever. And that if you make it like, okay, if I don't drink, I'm going to be better at football, basketball, and whatever. So that maybe have appealing to the male audience, but the concept I really like that it was cut to the chase and really there with fine tuning. But if you can replicate and have the same, and obviously on top of that, the diversity was missing, but it's not. It's just a mock-up. So I understand that you, with the pass of time, if you work in this, you will add layers of the reality of the campus. But if you find similar needs of a male in this particular campaign, I think you have a very good gem here.
Yeah, I thought I really like that you guys dug further on the insight. Like you didn't go with the, like, to get the skincare, you have to go a little bit deeper, right? So I thought it was cool that you went past the initial insights and found one that was a little below the surface. And so that brought you guys into a different direction. It was like it was a nice indirect, creative way to a solution. That first video you guys did, I thought was awesome. There was a really good misdirect, and a misdirect is a common way to make a good ad, right? So you basically laid up in the video that it was going to be some groundbreaking skin product, and it was just not drinking a ton of booze, which is awesome. That was a really entertaining way and a cool misdirect and a cool way to get to your point. I thought that you could stay with that misdirect further through your campaign. I thought your campaign was awesome. Thought the insight was great, but like with the FIU like making mocktails thing, I think you kind of stayed with the misdirect of your video and maybe gone the other way where it was like, this is, you basically do a bar where it's a skincare bar. Like it's presented as a place where you go to drink, that you go in and you're actually drinking cocktails that have things in them that make your skin better, right? So you keep with the misdirect of like the first one, you're misdirecting, you're saying this is a skin product. Oh wait, no, we're just telling you not to drink. And the other one, you could say this is a place, kind of give the people the misdirect of this is a place to drink and have fun, but really you're improving your skin. So I thought that could be a cool way to do your activation that followed up the video. But yeah, I thought it was cool.
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Oh, I did have one more thing. On your out of home, the line, I would almost have to see him. Can you pull him back up? I'll give you like a little.
Yeah.
My memory is not the best. Yeah. So let's see. This one, the one on the right, the best skincare is the one you choose to drink. So I think that's a good line. Smart drinking for college students. You don't need the choose water thing. You already get that your the choice is not to drink booze, right? So just drop the choose water and the message remains the same.
Okay. Yeah, that makes sense.
An alternative to that, based on what Paul is saying, is you could have her be drinking water, right? She could be actually drinking water, in kind of like that same pose, and then you would show, don't tell, basically.
But I like that you're basically just showing someone whose skin is not the best and then delivering the message.
Yeah, I love the lifestyle take. Really cool. I can't say I've ever seen that before.
Yeah, that was the kind of the look and feel, was to make it a little more lifestyle-y. But I do understand that, you know, as far as like the fonts and stuff like that and the contrast between the background and stuff like that, that can be definitely be improved upon.
Yeah, maybe do them like fashion ads, like, you know, where you get a white trim, like a white mat around an image. It's more like a lifestyle shot in the middle, and the copy goes like around, not like literally around, but like up top, down below, logo, like short and sweet, like kind of like those Celine ads, or, you know, Dior does them like that, and half of the Miami is like, you know, plastered in that.
Yeah.
In this
Maybe
case specifically, in this case specifically, you do have space on this one on the right where you could have just cropped that image, make her a little bit smaller, and then you put the copy on black on top with a negative space that you have. So, you know, finding ways of creatively using type is going to be part of the challenge there. But yeah, and what Dan said as well, you know, if you go to 95, you're gonna see, you know, Pandora, like Gucci, all these guys, and they're using this style where it's the editorial by itself, and then they'll have a block, like a white block and the logo, and then the messaging there.
Because it's a cool, it's a cool juxtaposition.
Yeah.
Of like, you know, drinking and like you're all like grimy and hungover, but like also, you know, you're juxtaposing it with like, if you don't drink, you're like nice and clean and pristine, and, you know, this is a lifestyle choice. So like it's all there. I mean, just, you know, I don't think I can say possibly anything that anybody hasn't said before. Excellent job. This is amazing.
Thank you.
Thank you, Tony, Dan, Henry, Dan, and Paul. Thank you very much. It was like really helpful for them. And you guys did an amazing job. You were not happy with the topic, I know. When I gave you the topic, you were like, oh, but like you did an amazing job with all this. And I don't know, like, if you like the whole collaboration thing, but I think that kind of like adds a new perspective to the job that you do. So excellent job. And yep, work on the comments and so on, so you can use like these pieces in your book. And have a nice summer because it's your last class.
Yay.
Yay.
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for having us. Good job.
Thank you for all the
Bye.
feedback.
Bye.
Goodbye.
Bye-bye,
Yeah,
everyone.
excellent work. Have a great rest of your day.